everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It is your favorite dimpled hot mess here, always with smuttiness and never with the serious sometimes. Although this one is a really fun read, I'm not gonna lie. So, we're gonna be getting into Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. A quick summary is for Astrid Parker, failure is unacceptable. Ever since she broke up with her fiance a year ago, she's been focused on her career. Her friends might say she's obsessed, but she's just driven. When Prue Everwood asks her to be the designer of the Everwood Inn's renovation that will be broadcasted on a popular home improvement show inside America, Astrid knows the answer to everything that is wrong with her life. It'll be the perfect distraction from her failed love life, and her perpetually displeased mother might finally give her nod of approval. However, Astrid never planned on Jordan Everwood, Prue's granddaughter and lead carpenter for the inn's renovation, who despises every modern design decision Astrid makes. Jordan is determined to preserve the history of her family's inn, particularly as the rest of her life is in shambles. When that determination turns into a little light sabotage, ruffling Astrid's perfect little feathers, the showrunners ask them to play up the tension. But somewhere along the way, their dislike for each other turns into something quite different, and Astrid must decide what success truly means. Is she truly going to pursue the life she's expected to lead, or the one she wants? Da da da! So, we're going to be discussing this one. Spoilers ahead. So, if you guys haven't read this, I definitely suggest checking out your local library or your local bookstore. I will admit that this one is so relatable. I feel like L'Oreal did an amazing job at describing innermost thoughts because, oof, adulthood is not easy. But these problems, I honestly feel like there have been a few times in my life where I have no idea what I was doing. I was a broke college student just trying to make it. And then adulthood, post graduation was a different story. But honestly, from the very beginning, I was rooting for these two and not just together as a couple. With Astrid, she has a really strict mother to place the absolute amount of expectations on her. She also just got out of an engagement with your typical kind of douche who, of course, moves on, makes her feel even more like shit, and it's something not pretty at all. I know I could go into depth about how it's important to have literary figures like Astrid and Jordan around because honestly, fuck the perfect kind of FMCs. I think that's why I can't stand specific FMCs where everything falls into place for them, or why specific love triangles just have to happen. Fuck that. I want Jordan who's trying to pull her life together and isn't afraid that she could have stayed at home with her cat all day eating pizza. That kind of realness can make or break a novel for me. I will admit to a confession that this is one of my first sapphic romance novels that I've read, and I'm just sad that I haven't found it until now because I'm going to be fixing it. Like, there's like the usual literary classics like Call Me By Your Name, but I'm making more. I think I'm going to make Hataway for the series because I honestly think it was such a fun read. Um, so let's just start with the setting of Bright Falls that the story takes place in. Honestly, the fact that I'm actually reading the sequel again first before the actual first novel of this series, they're each standalones, but still. And we all know how that worked out with like Little Miss Spanish Love Deception. Spoilers, I adore the American Roommate Experiment way more in that series, way more, hands down. And with this town, we as readers could tell that a lot goes on. We have Jordan and Simon, hey, bisexual king, I see you, and their grandmother Prue, who would want to make their Everwood Inn back to its former. It's a little hallmarky at first. I know it sounds really hallmarky at first, like, but Hallmark can't be that this great sometimes, really. And I'm not always for meat disasters, believe it or not. Yes, yeah, I know I prefer enemies to lovers anytime, but that's because they have known each other for so long that unless it's a backstory for the first scenario that they decided to hate each other, not really my thing. But I will admit, I loved the catchiness of the phone numbers. I thought that was genius. Like, delightful human who ruined your ugly dress. Like, come on. This is a scenario on how some things just work. But the cherry on top was the awkwardness having them actually have to work together. I think that this book really emphasizes on how much the importance of their jobs is important for their success, not just to the public eye, but to themselves and getting out of that funk that each woman is in right now. For Astrid, it's about finally having success for her interior design business and getting off her ass for once. This is to stop the pity party and the single bashing from her mother, and for once, Astrid could feel that she is still capable and passionate about her job. For Jordan, it's a goal that is similar to Astrid's because she wants the Everwood Inn to stay open, as she really has a soft spot for the inn and her grandmother. Like Astrid, she's healing from the quote unquote broken status from her marriage to Meredith, and both of them are looking to have those kind of passions back into their lives. I think one of the main reasons that this book also made me so emotional was because there's a certain stigma that comes with that kind of quote unquote broken status. And we've all been there at one point in our lives. I remember for me, it was changing my major in college because for the longest time I was prepping to be a doctor. But here was the catch: I absolutely failed at my math classes. I did well on the science part, but anything else was out of the question. So when I finally had the courage to change my major to English, it was both terrifying and liberating. And I loved seeing that kind of journey with Astrid and Jordan. Even though they both started off on a really shitty note, they brought a newness and a passion that had been lying under like their broken hearts. Astrid is stiff at first, and Jordan is, of course, lacking trust. They naturally had to have their clash with each other when Astrid is trying to lead the Everwood Inn into something more modern and everybody would like. However, according to Jordan, it's basically as bleak as the interior office she usually designs. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good gray, as all you, as everybody well knows, and I love black chic furniture. Like, don't get me started on a good classy goth architecture because it's just house goals. Like, you guys know, I just recently moved into my new place, so it's basically like we basically had to touch up like our room to black, and then the living room is to a nice gray, and we also have to figure out how to keep the rustic tones of brown in here because that is what the house came with. So it's kind of interesting. But anyways, getting back to that. I'm not sure about you guys, but the way the Everwood Inn was being described, I was low key kind of feeling Winchester House vibes. Thankfully, not the kind where like human labor is employed 24 hours, but the kind where the story is of a tragic woman who experiences loss and has a whole mansion. Jordan sees Astrid, and at first, Astrid was like, "What do you mean these designs are not good enough?" I think that Astrid lacked the knowledge to really study and take in the inn's overall history because there is such thing as an interior design as classy and modern. Do I know the term? Nope. But look at Pinterest if you want to know what I mean. I know modern and into the future was the thing that Astrid wanted to bring into the inn. And do I doubt that Astrid had the means? No, I don't doubt that she had the means to. And did Jordan doing the Blue Room itself add to the twist? Obviously, I'm not complaining. This is the first time that Jordan stepped out of her like carpentry zone and found something that would be her passion as well. But can we talk about their dates? I know that they have an instant attraction to each other because they are both such pretty women. I mean, come on, the overalls are my weakness. I love a good overall look. If I'm relaxed and chilling on the weekend, there is a very high chance you could spot me in overalls anytime. Their first date was at the flea market, and we, along with Jordan, got to have a glimpse of something that Astrid is passionate about, and it's baking. So much so that she can actually smell a flavor in the cupcake, and my ass is like, wow, it's either good or not. I'm just here to taste it. Picky eater problems, but also working at a culinary school opened up my taste buds, and also living with my fiance. I swear he doesn't want to be a chef, but he definitely has like this, like, not the stigma, but like, how do I say it? He's adorable when he cooks. He loves the kitchen a certain way, and he has never made a bad meal. and he knows how to experiment with spices. So I would say it's not. It's so cute seeing him like that. But just the fact, but me, I'm a plant based vegetarian for the most part. So I'm a pain in the ass for him to cook for. So, ah, what can you do? Flea markets and farmers markets are one of our favorites. Anyways, my favorite dating scene is when they're playing mini golf with all of their friends and Jordan's brother. I just like how Astrid is like, really, guys? Then all her friends, Delilah, Claire, and Riss, I believe, are like, what? We must take them along. We must welcome them as well. And also, can we talk about how cute Delilah and Claire are? I will read that first book. I will, because I want to read Delilah and Claire's story. And I'm not sure who, but the one with the dark curls and like the all black suit was a hotter one. I'm just saying. I was just like, okay. They're lovey dovey, whispering with sweet nothings into each other, and having a diverse bookshelf. Be still, my heart. Also, the fact that Astrid spills wine on Jordan's shirt, I really enjoyed the circle of them just taking turns spilling on each other, and the tarot card of Two of Cups makes a consistent appearance. They're cute metaphors for each other's like love lives, and despite a rough start and kind of demonstrating both of their clumsiness and how they match each other's energy. But that movie theater date, girl, I wanted to go to an old school movie theater now and get drunk there too. The fact that they both wanted each other, the way Astrid would look at Jordan with her lips, and then the tension that there was when Astrid did the cherry nut trick with lips and gave it to Jordan. Okay, I mean, it's a staple trick. It is a staple trick. It is, I mean, I can't help it. I also am a lover of the cherry trick. And the sexual positivity in this book, better than I have what better than most books what I've written by men. Like I'm not saying there isn't sex positive books written out there by men, but I have yet to read one. I'm not gonna lie, I have yet to read one. The realism, I mean, who hasn't done the deed on themselves if the situation arises? When in doubt, just always get a toy. They're so much more fun. Astrid really thought she did something with Jordan, but like she just had fun with herself and of course a sex dream. But Jordan, she was a bit more of a mystery at first because we all know that she has a lot of emotions and she is hitting a sore spot in her life. I will admit, when she admitted to Astrid about how, when she was beating in the cabinet, she pictured cancer. I imagine that, oh goodness, really, why must there always be a death? Like, why does it always have to be a death? I.e., the 100 show style. Like, I hate that. But no, instead, her backstory is a little bit more tragic because now it explains why she was the way that she was in Georgia with her wife, Meredith, having cancer, healing, and then deciding to be selfish after so long and leaving her to fulfill her own dreams. In itself, there is nothing wrong with that, but the fact that Jordan got blindsided by it. After being with someone for so long, each person should be honest about big moves like that. I'm not married yet, but that's what I've heard. And we'll get to the ugly exes, but right now I'm not done with Jordan and Astrid's chemistry. Firstly, I got to give props to Jordan when she speaks her mind about what she really feels and wants. Yes, she has the hots for Astrid and respects her discovering her sexuality, but she does not want to be the guinea pig. She wants someone who doesn't want her as an experiment, but she wants Astrid to kiss her for Jordan with faults and all. Quote, I want to kiss you, Astrid said. She let her other hand come up Jordan's waist. She didn't tug her closer, though. Not yet. I want to touch you, and not so I can know what it's like to be with women, so I can know what it's like to be with you. End quote. Which is one of the main themes of this book is that life will not only treat you like shit sometimes, in the aftermath there's newness and potentially something that was not there before. Like the Two of Cups taunting Jordan in a way, Jordan realizing she is worth more and not settling for less, even if that is being alone for a little bit. The closet scene, though, so nice. The way that Jordan was like, I can make you come with your clothes on. Oh, beautiful. hot and sexy. Like Miss saying, "Are you sure you're just ink on paper?" Because the way that she was like kissing up all on Jordan, like not Jordan's, on Astrid's clothing without actual skin to skin, like she was putting Christian Harper and Rice Larson to shame. Like, damn. Then of course Meredith, just like the villain from the Parent Trap, of course, has to make an appearance. All I wanted to say throughout that scene is that I hope that Jordan's breath smells like Astrid's. Yeah, you know what I mean. Also, the fact that Astrid did her research to make Jordan feel just as good. Green flags. Green flags all the way. It was such a hot moment. And why did Meredith think she could just show up and get Jordan back? Like, no, you have your moment. Now be gone. Poof. The fact that she ambushed Astrid and Jordan like that, like it was vile, unnecessary, and I just feel like I didn't see Meredith disappointed enough. And I don't know, maybe like short, direct, and mature is really what was meant to happen for Jordan, to completely shut that door closed and nail it to the wall forever. But the fact that this was the opener for the third act, I'm not gonna lie, I was beyond sad and also relieved. Because, as in the famous words of RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love anybody else? That was the case with Astrid, and she was at least honest enough to let Jordan know that she deserved so much more. That is, until Astrid knows herself a bit more and is a bit more stable first. It hurt to see Jordan's perspective when Astrid did that to her, because Jordan felt unloved and unworthy to be let go of again. It really is a vulnerable position to open yourself up to somebody new and even more in the name of love. And I was rooting for them. I was really rooting for them, for her just to be broken up with again. Even worse, I thought that the inn would have been shut down because they were relying on its success, while Astrid really had to be the interior designer, and the episode could have saved him, but alas, Astrid chose the higher road, although that process in itself was just as messy. I'm glad that Jordan found her calling to be her own person, and that Natasha was so impressed with the way that Jordan designed the Everwood Inn that she had a whole story and magazine cover devoted to her. The fact that Natasha could sense the tension between Astrid and Jordan since the beginning, and even had a necklace herself, like, yes, ma'am, I would not mind knowing more about Miss Natasha, Miss Success Power Top herself. But yes, Jordan found her calling, and when Astrid found the courage to own up to being herself and embracing like the lostness, only then do more things become clear for her. She quit interior designs and had that important conversation every overbeared daughter has had at least once in her life. It just strings to admit when you're stuck and failing, and adulthood always teaches us to fake it till you make it. But not this book. I could officially say that this is my green flag book because it makes you feel better about sucking at life and not knowing everything and embracing starting again, even if you're an adult in your 30s. It's never too late, and such a message is so fucking important to all of us, especially women. When Astrid had the courage to be herself, and the way that she wooed Jordan back to her with the Two of Cups after both of them taking that space to really make sure that they can give each other that second try, it was so romantic. With the night, the Two of Cups that like all displayed like on a road, it was cute. Like the way they talked to one another again, not with toxicity or malice, even post third act breakup, or like even groveling, but love and gratitude and humor with little inside jokes that we as readers have experienced full circle since they hated each other from the beginning. It was nice to see. And the fact that Astrid confessed her love to her, and I was like, it was so cute. I think like it was, honestly, this was a nice read for me. Like, I think more books need to be as romantic as this one. And honestly, I'm probably going to read the rest of the series because why not? I love a good, healthy, fun friend group and their varying love lives. So this was like, I know this was mostly positive one. I mean, if you heard my other reviews, they've been on and off. Like I said, I think it just depends. This one was very cinnamon roll romance, very sweet, very like palate cleanser. Like if you want to read something after a dark romance, then I definitely recommend this one. And if you're still around, let me know what you thought of this book. And if there are any more recommendations like this, drop the titles in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. Thank you.